In my last video I said I would be doing the reserve shooter. However, I should have thought not to do 2 shotgun weapons in a row, but whatever, what's done is done. I'm still doing the weapon, but I'll try to be more careful of what weapons I choose in the future. And the weapons I'll be going over next time will not be any shotguns. Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure that was the only other shotgun in the game without counting stock. Well, anyway, this is Meet the Weapons, where I go over the weapons' history, statistics, and gameplay. And the weapon I shall be going over today is, if you somehow haven't figured out already, the reserve shooter. There's not much history with this gun. The reserve shooter was added on June 23, 2011 in the update and given to the soldier alongside 4 other weapons: the Liberty Launcher, Mad Treads, Market Gardener, and Disciplinary Actions. There was a lot of weapons added in this update. Its design was contributed by Mu Elbagast and was given the initial stats of 15% faster weapon switch speed, minus 50% clip size, and mini crits airborne targets for 3 seconds after switch. As in, you have 3 seconds to shoot someone mid-air after switching to the reserve shooter for mini crits. It was not an amazing weapon, but not bad either, just kind of meh. Then on October 13th, 2011, on the Maniversary update, Valve for some reason thought it would be a good idea to give it to the Pyro, another mini crit slash crit gimmick weapon. So they gave the reserve shooter for the Pyro. That was a pretty big deal. Then on February 7th, 2014, its stats were buffed a bit. They increased the clip size from 3 to 4, and the time to mini crit someone in the air was increased from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. It was a good buff for the weapon, but it was still meh. Then finally on December 17th, 2015, the Tough Break update was released, and it was given basically nerfs. It does not boost all-around switch speed anymore, but it now boosts the switch speed switching to the weapon, which was increased from 15% to 20%. And the target must be forced into the air via air blast or knockback to get the mini crits, rather than getting the mini crits from the enemy being in the air at all. The nerfs were fine and well justified, but the weapons were still just meh. Anyway, let's get into the statistics of the weapon. The statistics of the weapon are pretty basic. The reserve shooter is a hit scan shotgun. There's no damage penalty with this gun, so since there are 10 pellets for each shell, with basic damage, each pellet does 6, 60 with each shot, and 240 with all 4 shots. With the maximum ramp up, each pellet does 9, each shot does 90, 360 with all 4, and with maximum fall off, each pellet does 3 damage, each shot does around 10 damage, and with 4 shots it does around 40 damage. Each pellet with a mini crit does around 8.1 to 12 damage, so with a single shell it can do up to 120 damage with mini crits. Each pellet of a critical hit always does 18 damage, since critical hits do not have any damage fall off. So with one shell it can do up to 180 damage. It has a damage spread of 30 hammer units, so the accuracy isn't really that bad. The attack speed of the gun has not changed at all, so it still has the same attack interval of 0.625 seconds. Now there's the reload speed, it's still the same. The first shot reloaded takes 1 second, and the consecutive reloads are 0.5 seconds. Since it has a minus 34% clip size, it can only hold 4 shots at once. It also deploys 20% faster than the stock, but that's barely noticeable. It takes 0.5 seconds to deploy the stock shotgun, and the reserve shooter only takes 0.4 seconds. It's barely noticeable and kind of useless. And that's actually it with the weapon. There's actually nothing else. It's a very bland weapon in stats. So let's get into the gameplay. If I haven't made it clear yet, I do not like this weapon. In the Panic Attack video, I talk about the reserve shooter for a bit, and decided maybe since I haven't really used it, I thought I could do a video about this gun and see if it's better than I thought. And the result was, the weapon was just meh. I don't like weapons that have an okay upside but compensate by a not really damaging downside. The buffs and nerfs that they gave the gun didn't really change it that much for me to use it at all. I don't hate it, but I just don't like it either. I just feel kind of indifferent about it. The weapon itself is okay for the soldier, but it definitely has better synergy with the Pyro, since he has the ability to get people in the air with his air blast easier and maximize its effectiveness. But with the soldier, it's just not as good. It's fairly difficult to get people into the air with a rocket launcher, and even if you successfully launch the enemy into the air, sometimes the reserve shooter just does not give the mini crits. It happened to me a lot while I was playing it. It's just not good as the stock for the soldier, and Valve can't really do much about the weapon. If they buff it so it becomes better for the soldier, it might become overpowered for the pyro. But if they nerf it for the pyro, it just becomes awful with the soldier. I've heard people say that they should split the weapon up like the equalizer, and I actually agree with that. Let the pyro keep the version of the weapon that we have now, and give the soldier's version of the reserve shooter some buffs to it to make it better for him. But seriously, I died so many times with this weapon. I'm not sure whether it was because I didn't really get to use the weapon effectively enough, or maybe it's just because I'm not good as pyro soldier, as I am with scout and spy, or maybe I'm just stupid. Possibly all three. So that wraps it up for this video about one of my least favorite weapons in Team Fortress 2. It has its moments, but I just don't like it. Hopefully it becomes better for the soldier, but still balanced with the pyro. But until then, I'd rather use a better shotgun, or a more useful secondary like a gunboat or flare gun. The reserve shooter is just my least favorite shotgun, mostly how situational it can be for soldier, not as good as any other secondaries for pyro, and it just has bland stats as well. Anyway, thank you for watching another poor quality video of mine, and in the next video, I'll be going over 2 weapons this time. Yes, 2 weapons. You heard me. 2 weapons in one video. Has your mind imploded yet? Anyway, the 2 weapons I'll be going over next time are considered the worst weapons in the game. The Rift promotional items, the ones, the only, Sun on a Stick, and Sharpened Volcano Fragment. God help us all. Oh hey, it's me again, after the video ended. So yeah. I went really overboard with with content or whatever. And one of the maps I played on High Tower for 20 minutes and that didn't even get featured. And so I thought I was bored, so I just made another one of these death montage things or whatever. So hope you like it, I guess. I don't know. I like doing these.